Hey, this is Artie Astor with B Sharp and C, and I am going to do another Nightwish reaction. But the reason is actually really simple. It's because twice now I've referenced a Pink Floyd song, I believe in two of my Nightwish reactions. And people said, well, why don't you react to a certain song that Nightwish does where they cover Pink Floyd? And I said, yeah, why the heck not? It's Nightwish doing High Hopes. Some people say that they prefer this version over the original studio version by Pink Floyd. That's actually really hard to do, especially that lap slide solo that David Gilmour does in the end, which on the original album, it might have just been a pedal steel guitar. I don't think it was like a lap steel or anything like that. I think he actually played a pedal steel guitar. That's what it sounds like, anyways, which he's done numerous times in other songs. But I digress. So let's go ahead and watch High Hopes performed by Nightwish. This is very different already, which is good. You don't want it to be exactly like the.
Beyond the horizon, oh, the place we lived when we were young, in a world of magnets and merry-go-rounds. Our thoughts strayed constantly, and without boundary, the ringing of the division bell had begun. Along the long road, on down to the causeway, do they still meet there by the cut? There was a ragged band that followed in our footsteps, running before time took our dreams away, leaving the myriad small creatures that tried to tie us to the ground, till life consumed by slow decay. The grass was greener,
Oh!
light was brighter, with friends surrounded, the lights of wonder, looking beyond the embers of the bridge.
Okay. I gotta it's now I'm reacting how I react. So please understand that I could pretend to just jump around and do somersaults and be like, holy crap, this is the best thing I've ever heard. But I need to actually react the way I react. This is just me reacting. So far, I've spent the first half of the song. So let me just double check. So this is a 6 minute and 52-second song. We're almost 2 minutes in. So far, I've spent the first 2 minutes mentally comparing the two. And I don't think I can do that. I don't think I should do that. I don't think it's fair because it's obvious that they took the structure of the song High Hopes and then kind of like chewed it up, digested it, and are now birthing, if that's even the proper term, the Nightwish version. And let me tell you, this is Nightwish. I know that sounds stupid because it's like, well, obviously you're reacting to a Nightwish song, so what the heck are you talking about? I mean, they absorbed the song and then they're now exuding. They're now I don't know the right word for it. They're now allowing to pour out of them how they would do it. They're essentially, without rewriting the song, they're essentially rewriting it. This is a Nightwish song. I have to get the original from Pink Floyd out of my mind because this is nothing like it. And I need to listen to more to fully understand what they're doing in their interpretation of the song. I will say a couple of things. I love the when they went into the chorus. And this song is kind of weird. It's in its structure, because it has a verse and then it has this along the long road and on down the causeway. It's like, is that a pre-chorus or is that a chorus? So they have the verse and then they have another verse that's kind of different. And then they go into what I would define as the chorus where they sing, the grass was greener, right? Which to me, that's the chorus. And that's even what kind of rings out at the end of the song before David Gilmour does his pedal steel guitar solo. So the song does have a very unique structure in the way that it's built and the way that it develops. And Nightwish is doing that. They're doing that. They're doing it their way. And I really do get the feeling that they listened to the original, they got the song, they understand the how the song is structured, and then they really worked hard at putting the Nightwish feel into it. Okay, I'm going to use this synthesizer for the intro, this, that, and the other thing. And then and there's something that I really like, something small at the end of the chorus. You hear that one guitar note? Something as simple as that rings out in your mind at the end of the chorus. That is Nightwish being Nightwish. I swear it's like Nightwish is putting their signature on it, saying, "This is us." I love that.
Going behind us, took a glimpse of how green it was on the other side. Steps taken forward, but sleepwalking back again, dragged by the force of some inner tide. When the high sound to kill with full like a fur.
Oh yeah.
We reach the dizzy heights of that
I got to comment on that guitar solo because I actually think it was brilliant. He played it very well. And, he's a guitarist that's a lot like David Gilmour. Instead of focusing on complete and total, like the Speed Olympics, just going completely hog wild nuts, playing the guitar, like you get extra points for playing fast. Instead of doing that, he's a very, very, very melodic and intentional guitarist. He doesn't waste a note. And that's how David Gilmour is. He doesn't waste notes. And I'm not saying that other guitarists are, but it's very common for a guitarist, especially a guitarist that shreds, when they're in between ideas, they do things, whether it's a hammer on and a pull off or some other type of technique, the triplets, the 30-second note triplets through a scale as they're thinking of their next idea. So there's always something being played, even when they're trying to think of an idea, they're doing something. David Gilmour is not like that. He's not like that. So they're very similar in their approach to how they play. They're very intentional. They want every note to matter. And I actually appreciate that type of guitar playing more because the listener is hanging on to every note. So if you miss a note or make a mistake, the mistake seems bigger than if you're going nuts and you miss a note. Let's just face it, Jimmy Page, Jimi Hendrix, not much Eddie Van Halen. That dude just didn't miss notes that much, but like a Jimmy Page or Slash, right? Where they're all over the place and they're awesome. But every now and then they actually might miss a note or play a little bit out of time or do whatever. And you really don't feel it that much because there's so much going on. When you're an intentional player like this, you have the audience hanging on to every note that you're playing. And I noticed something he did here that I thought was interesting. In this guitar solo in the original, Dave Gilmour, in between licks, does like a climb up the scale, you know, and he doesn't. What is this guitarist's name? Why, instead of referring to him as he, okay, I just looked up his name. His name is Empu. Please, for the love of all that is holy, if I'm mispronouncing the name, someone tell me if his name is Empu. That's what I looked up.
Empa Vorinen.
Is that correct?
Empa Vorinen.
Empa Vorinen. Empa.
Empa Vorinen.
Is that right? Am I saying that right?
Empa Vorinen.
Empa. Okay. So as I was saying, now I forget the point I was making, but Empa Vorinen is not when he played the guitar solo. Let me see if I can find the spot. So in the original, David Gilmour does like a run up the scale, like triplets or something, and Empa decides not to do that. He does something different. So even within the guitar solo, he does things to kind of give it his mark, which I think is really nice. And it's just as melodic as David Gilmour's guitar solo, because I believe they both approach the guitar in a similar fashion.
But forever, desire and ambition, this hunger still unsatisfied. Our weary eyes still stray to the horizon, the dumbest road we've been so.
His the vocalist here is doing things vocally that David Gilmour never did in the song as well. And it gives it kind of more of an Eastern European type of feel. It's more gothic, and I mean, it's Nightwish. So they're doing it the way they do it. Okay, hold on a second. This is not me reacting. This is actually me making a quick clip because I'm editing the video and I was so caught up in just a different type of analysis, a different type of reaction, that I never stopped to comment on how absolutely awesome the drumming is throughout this whole song, but especially during this last part here. Man, it's weird because I once heard someone refer to Nick Mason, the drummer for Pink Floyd, as a very melodic drummer. And it almost sounds counterintuitive. Like, how could he be melodic? He's not playing notes, really, But Nick Mason is a very intentional drummer. Every drum hit is perfectly placed. Same exact thing is happening here. Every drum hit, every fill is just so impactful. Anyways, okay, now we'll go back to the regular reaction. Nice, nice. He's a good vocalist. hear that guitar solo. All right, let's do this. He's a good vocalist. I did not he's a good he hits notes and then does a vibrato. It's a very thick vibrato and let me tell you man, it fits for this. And I love his keyboard setup.
Quietos.
Ooh. Wow. Wow. I can't compare the two. I cannot compare the two. I have to look at this as a Nightwish song. And they did a good job. They repeated the chorus twice in the end. So they did the chorus, the longer version of the chorus, you had the guitar solo, and then they did the chorus again. I thought that was fantastic. And you know, someone said to me they prefer that version over the Pink Floyd version. And I'm going to come right out and say I can't make that comparison. I can't because the Pink Floyd version is Pink Floyd. Their version, Nightwish's version, is Nightwish. So a lot of it depends on what kind of emotion do I want to hear behind that song. I think Nightwish did such a good job making this theirs that it's now two different songs. If I want to hear a Nightwish-ish version of the song, then I'm going to listen to that. If I want to hear a Pink Floyd-ish version of the song, the original, I'm going to listen to that. But the two couldn't be more different, you know? If you listen to the Pink Floyd version, it really does give you like this feel that you're in a field in the middle of like the UK somewhere, maybe in the upper portion of of England or somewhere in Ireland, right? And you're looking at fields, and there's a gentle breeze, and you're in kind of a dark mood, but you're pensive. You know, you're pensive. The Nightwish version gives more of an Eastern European feel. There's a little bit more of a drive behind it. And yes, it evokes a lot of emotion, but it's not just a deep, pensive mood. There's a little bit of, I can't think of the word, not anger, but there's a little bit more of you're not sitting back and just accepting everything. You're ready to act. there's more of a mood of you're about to take action type of thing. And I don't know if that makes any sense at all. But this version and the Pink Floyd version evoke in me two completely different types of thought, you know. So I don't know. I thought it was fantastic. And I love how they what they did was I love what they how they approached all the guitar solos because even the keyboard and the guitar, when you stop and analyze it, um, pretty much anything Pink Floyd revolves around what's going on with the keyboard and the guitar. That those define Pink Floyd and other things too. I mean, don't get I'm not saying that's all Pink Floyd is, but musically, the keyboard and the guitar are what define a lot of the music, especially if you go back to even their earlier albums, even before Dark Side. And you had a lot going on with the keyboard and the guitar, whether it's obscured by clouds or, you know, um, Umagama. I mean, you break it down. Adam Hart Mother, where they really got creative and they got a little symphonic. But I mean, like, you look at Pink Floyd and everything they do is pretty much defined musically by what's happening with the keyboard and the guitar. Here, the Nightwish version, they completely changed the keyboard and the guitar. And they used that to define this version as a Nightwish version. So they didn't say, let's just play High Hopes. They didn't say that. They took the structure of High Hopes and then they made it their own by defining the song with the keyboard and the guitar the way that they do it. And even though the solos were similar, the guitar solos were similar to the Pink Floyd version, they were very different, especially that last guitar solo where he didn't even attempt to follow the same melody, the same lines that David Gilmour was playing, which to some degree you can't because David Gilmour, when you're playing with a slide, you can go really, really, really high on the guitar. And of course, Empa couldn't do that here. So I hope I'm still saying his name correctly. Empa is what I got from Google. So I don't know. Anyways, I loved it, but it's totally different. I cannot compare the two. Let me know what you think of the song. Let me know if you prefer one version over the other. I just simply can't make that comparison because they're so different. It just depends on my mood. I'll look forward to your comments. This is Artie Astor with B Sharp and C saying, keep it groovy.